Hi, it's Allison Crawford from the Public Affairs Department in the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. In this leadership log, we're previewing the 2024 Product Support Managers Forum. We'll speak with a group of PSM leaders about this year's themes, expected speakers, and other benefits logisticians can expect if they participate.
We're trying to really connect the dots between what our folks in the program offices do and what the folks in the field have to deal with.
Skills and knowledge that we learn by attending the forum allows us to be more proficient and beneficial to not only our programs, but across the entire Air Force.
Having these discussions, it helps identify gaps between planned and actual usage, or between the development and execution.
We'll also explore how the forum's goals align with the center's mission to acquire and support war-winning capabilities. Product support managers maintain readiness of operational capability for our warfighters. Each year, the Lifecycle Management Center Logistics Directorate hosts a PSM forum to bring individuals in the career field together for learning and networking. This year, the PSM forum will be June 25th through the 27th at Wright Pat. In this episode of Leadership Log, we welcome Lance Connolly, Director of the AFLCMC Logistics Directorate, Colonel James Wall, and Ms. Nellie Hansen. All are logistics professionals and will explain a little bit more about the upcoming forum. Thank you all for joining us, and Mr. Connolly, let's begin with you. So our keynote speaker this year is going to be Steve Marani. He's the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Sustainment. What can people expect to learn from Mr. Marani at the forum?
Yes, well, thanks, Allison, for having us on today. I appreciate that. And, Mr. Marani is a great advocate for product support and sustainment, and we're really excited to have him as our keynote speaker. We're looking forward to some of the topics that he might talk about. One is regional sustainment framework. This is an OSD initiative to work with our allies around the world and helping use their capabilities for repair and supply at the forward edge of our AORs. Also, we think he's going to talk about how do we keep the momentum going on logistics and the focus that we've experienced for the last couple of years. This has been a great opportunity where we've had senior leaders, not only within the Air Force, but across the other services and OSD, to give us that focus on how do we sustain the fight and how do we get spares to the fight when we need them. So I think he's going to talk to that. And then I think as well, he's going to talk about how do we balance product support and sustainment for our legacy fleets with those new next generation weapon systems that are coming online as well. And then lastly, Mr. Marani in our recent conversation told us he's recently spoke with DARPA on some of the new capabilities that they are working on. And I think he's going to help show some of the issues that they're working on, some of the technologies that they are bringing to the logistics world. So we're really excited to hear what he has to say.
And attendees would be able to ask him questions directly, right?
Absolutely. And, I think that's one of the real main draws to this product support forum is the ability for our product support managers and our other senior logisticians to interact with senior leaders, especially at this level, just to kind of understand what it is they are thinking and the areas that they're working on as well. So question and answers should be a great part of this forum.
So Colonel Wall, I want to turn to you, and we're talking about discussions. I know this year there's going to be more panels and less traditional back and forth speeches. So can you explain how the panels will work and why you decided to make that format change?
Yeah, great question, Allison. I'm pretty excited about this year. How the panels will work. Each panel will have a moderator that'll help facilitate those discussions between 3 or 4 panel members. We're going to have a QR code that's going to be available for the audience to submit questions either ahead of time or during the panel discussions. Panel members are going to be encouraged to ask questions as well as talking directly to the audience. And of course, the audience is more than welcome to ask questions to the panel members. We'll have microphones just kind of as a backup, just in case our digital technology, we have any issues with our QR codes or Teams meetings. But the main reason for the increased focus on the panels this year is to increase that two-way communication. You know, no matter what the setting is or how many breaks we provide, there's only so much information that a person can absorb from just listening or reading some slides. So our main goal is to increase that discussion, not only between the audience and the speakers, but also to increase that crosstalk amongst all the attendees as well. And these panel members, they're going to be allowed to cover area. And having the panels will also allow more than just one speaker's knowledge. An example being the MXG panel for the colonels. I'll be facilitating that one. We're going to have representation from the MAP, the CAF, and the bombers. And then supply chain, we're going to have the Sustainment Center and DLA as part of the representation. So I think that's going to be a really good mix. And I think the audience is going to appreciate that versus just some PowerPoints and one individual standing up talking.
Going to Ms. Hanson, you know, the event is 3 days, which is a big time commitment for all of us, because I know we're all so busy across the enterprise in our normal work days. So what would you say to convince a fellow PSM to take the time out to attend this forum?
I would tell fellow PSMs that while 3 days out of our work offices on a daily basis seems like a significant amount, I would remind them that the benefits far outweigh the work demands on a daily basis. The skills and knowledge that we learn by attending the forum allows us to be more proficient and beneficial to not only our programs, but across the entire Air Force. I would encourage them to set that out of office, come off the grid and join us in the PSM forum and delegate and trust your people. They got this.
Everyone, she said, set your out of office. That means you plan to attend and pay attention. Going back to Colonel Wall, we wanted to talk about the themes a little bit. Each day has a theme, and day 1 is a day in the life of a warfighter, and day 2 is what challenges are we facing, and day 3 is teaming the fight. And so obviously you're going to be heavily involved in day 1, a day in the life of a warfighter. How can you help your civilian and contractor colleagues better understand the needs of those in uniform like yourself?
Yeah, another great question. So, you know, having these discussions, it helps identify gaps between, you know, planned and actual usage, or between the development and execution. An example how a program office could collaborate and find a way to fix an item, and however the maintainer may have to reach a full extension or have to retorque something in an awkward position or safety wire or something. And I can give a prime example. I started out here in Wright Pat way back in the day. I'm a maintenance officer by trade, which means I typically don't turn the wrench. But prior to me being a maintenance officer, I was a crew chief turning the wrenches. I worked on 141s here in the test wing in 4950th. And a great example of this would be when every time we had to change the pitch trim actuator on the T-tail section of a 141, I had to go upside down about 4.5 stories up. And now keep in mind, this is all inside the vertical stabilizer, hanging upside down blindly in the dark, working on a bolt that had to be safety wired, and then hanging upside down, doing that, not seeing what I'm doing, finishing it, getting out of the way, and then having the 7 level come up and inspect my work on that. And he has to do it blindly, just doing it by feel. A simple access panel in that area would have alleviated hours upon hours of work on that weapon system. So, you know, impacts to sorties and mission training and not being able to execute the air task orders or the ATO. You know, that's, you know, not that we're missing ATOs because of this safety wire job, but that's just one of several different examples that is drastically different than missing a deadline or shifting a program schedules. Having the warfighter explain those type of discussions to the folks that can have some real results as the PSMs can will be a great help, I think, for both parties.
That was a great story. A little scary, but great.
Yeah.
Back to Ms. Hanson, the day 3 panel, and I apologize for the alphabet soup. You're going to have employees from AFSC, DLA, and of course PSMs. So different career paths, all working together, trying to support the warfighter, the same goal. So and you haven't done this in the past in this forum. So what do you think you will achieve by having different groups come together and talk during this?
Great question. So I think it's beneficial to understand, especially as PSMs, the perspectives from AFSC, DLA, and PSMs. For AFSC, they're looking at the production and throughput of the depot lines to meet the warfighter needs. And AFSC is coming from more of a supply chain perspective to meet the maintenance demand rates and the challenges of the existing supply chain manufacturing constraints. While DLA is coming in from the commodity and enterprise perspective, such as distribution and fuels and consumables. So as a PSM, I'm coming in from a programmatic perspective about cost and schedule and performance, and I need to be able to understand their challenges and to be able to weigh and calculate the trade-offs that we need for our programs. So while our perspectives as a PSM and DLA and AFSC may differ, we need to understand how to speak their terms to garner the most support from each side. I think that the more ground we gain together and accept that nobody's fully funded anymore or fully manned, and how do we work together to overcome those constraints? So I think that decisions we make as a PSM on a daily basis affect AFSC and DLA. We need to understand how that affects that and how to garner the most support and maximize the warfighter support, which is our #1 focus at all times as a PSM.
And Mr. Conway, sir, I want to go back to you. I guess I wonder if you could explain the benefits gained from previous forums for your directorate and what you hope to see coming out of this one going forward.
Yeah, so there's a whole number of things I think that we gain out of this. One of our goals is to develop what we call operationally minded logisticians here within Lifecycle Management Center. So we're trying to really connect the dots between what our folks in the program offices do and what the folks in the field have to deal with, like Colonel Wall was talking about. And so I think with the increased number of panels we have, especially with not only the maintenance group commander panel, but also we're bringing in some MAGCOM A4s to talk to us from their perspective about how do they see what we're providing them and how does that play out when they have to use these weapon systems in a combat environment or in a deployed environment. So I think making that connection is something I hope we walk away with. I think too, we really made a big effort last year to get our entire logistics home office staff over there to attend. So there's the availability for our PSMs to grab one of our folks and say, hey, can you help me with this thing? And I think that in-person connection is really, really important. The other thing is just hearing from our senior leaders, from OSD to the center level. General Hurry's coming as well. So really understanding what they are having to deal with when we talk about great power competition. What are the impacts and how do we need to really shift our focus from, a very efficient just-in-time logistics effort to a very effective one that makes sure that what our warfighters need is going to be there when they need it. So there's a lot of great things. I think we've got a real good lineup of various organizations to come talk to our product support managers and really have that open dialogue that we really need.
Well, that's wonderful. I appreciate all three of you joining us today on Leadership Log. I know that you're all busy and there's still some work to do to put the forum together, so you probably need to get back to that. So we do appreciate your time. And if people have questions, we can add a workflow box, and we'll also have the QR code up for registration for our logisticians. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.